The one thing you are truly an expert at manifesting is the exact outcome you dread the most. You've been practicing your entire life, getting better every single day, building a reality you desperately want to escape. And the mechanism driving this is a simple, biological switch that you are flipping in the wrong direction. Constantly. This switch has nothing to do with magic or cosmic ordering. The instructions are written in your brain's oldest hardware, and you're running the program perfectly, just for the wrong team. And if you don't learn how that switch works, you will spend the rest of your life as the dedicated architect of your own worst fears. Your brain has a search engine. It's called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. This is a bundle of nerves at the brainstem that acts as a filter for the constant flood of information hitting your senses. It decides what you notice. If you decide you want to buy a red car, suddenly you see red cars everywhere. The number of red cars on the road didn't change, your filter did. You told your brain red car is important, and the RAS began highlighting every instance of it. This system is completely neutral. It's a tool. It doesn't care about your happiness or your misery. It just brings you more of whatever you tag as relevant, and you tag things as relevant with one currency: focus. Think about the last time you were worried about money. Really worried. What did you start to notice? Every unexpected bill, every price increase at the grocery store, every news headline about a market downturn. Your brain, trying to be helpful, started running the search query you fed it. Show me evidence of lack. It diligently filtered your reality to confirm your fear. This is the first layer of the mechanism. Your focus creates a filter, and your reality starts to conform to that filter. It's a simple feedback loop, but fear adds a chemical accelerant to this loop, turning a gentle current into a riptide. And that chemical reaction is where the real trouble begins. The human brain is wired with a profound negativity bias. For our ancestors, failing to notice a ripe berry was a missed meal. Failing to notice a predator in the bushes was the end of the genetic line. Your brain is the descendant of the most paranoid, anxious survivors. It evolved to scan for threats. It gives threats preferential treatment, faster processing, and a stronger memory imprint. This is handled by the salience network, a system that decides what pops out from the background noise. And fear makes things pop. An angry face in a crowd is spotted faster than a happy one. An insult is remembered longer than a compliment. This isn't a character flaw, it's a survival feature from a world that no longer exists. When you focus on a fear losing your job, getting sick, being rejected, you are doing more than just giving your RAS a search query. You are activating this ancient, powerful threat detection system. The salience network lights up, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, the hormones of stress. These chemicals act like a highlighter pen for your brain, screaming, "This is important! Pay attention! Remember this!" The fearful thought gets tagged with a massive emotional charge. Your brain learns that this thought, this scenario, is a top priority item. The system works. It's just working on a false positive. There is no predator in the bushes. There is only a thought about next month's rent. But your biology can't tell the difference. And now, you've told your brain's search engine that the most important thing to look for is evidence that your fear is coming true. But what does this actually change in your behavior? The answer is a quiet sabotage that happens below the level of conscious thought. This constant low-grade activation of your threat response changes how you make decisions. It's a phenomenon called attentional narrowing. When you're in a state of fear or anxiety, your focus literally narrows. You become hyper-focused on the perceived threat and blind to everything else. Think of it like looking at the world through a paper towel tube. All you can see is the thing you're afraid of. Opportunities, alternative solutions, and positive signals that exist just outside that narrow cone of vision become invisible. They are still there. You just can't perceive them. Your brain has physically deprioritized them. You're worried about a presentation at work. Your attentional field narrows to focus only on potential points of failure. The typo on slide 12. The one difficult question you might get. The fact that your boss looks impatient. You completely miss the signals of support from your colleagues. You miss the opportunity to connect with an ally in the room. You fail to notice that 98% of the audience is engaged and nodding along. Your narrow focus on failure makes you act defensively. Your tone becomes tense. You rush through your points. You project a lack of confidence. And at the end, when you receive lukewarm feedback, you tell yourself, "I knew it would go badly." You didn't predict the future, you created a set of conditions that made your feared outcome more likely. You built a self-fulfilling prophecy, one narrow-sighted decision at a time. This process is so subtle that you will always believe you were just reacting to reality. You will never see your own role as its architect. But this process isn't just about what you see, it's about who you become. Every time you dwell on a fear, you are rehearsing. You are practicing a performance. Your brain doesn't make a strong distinction between a vividly imagined event and a real one. The same neural pathways fire. Professional athletes use this principle through visualization. They mentally rehearse a perfect free throw or a flawless gymnastic routine, strengthening the neural circuits for that action. They are practicing success. Most of us, without realizing it, do the exact opposite. We practice failure. You spend hours mentally rehearsing the argument with your partner. You imagine every painful word, every defensive reaction. You feel the anger, the frustration, the sadness, all in advance. You are carving deep neural grooves for that specific disastrous conversation. You're learning your lines. When the actual conversation happens, which script do you think your brain will run? The new constructive one you hoped for, or the one you've practiced 50 times in your head? Your brain will default to the well-worn path. It will retrieve the rehearsed emotions, the practiced responses. You will find yourself saying the exact things you dreaded saying. You will react with the defensiveness you spent all week visualizing. You've trained for this. You've turned your mind into the perfect simulator for the worst-case scenario, and then you're surprised when you execute the simulation perfectly in the real world. This isn't manifestation, it's just practice. And what you practice, you become. But there's a final, more insidious layer to this. It's about the identity you accidentally build for yourself. Your brain has a deep primal need for cognitive consistency. It wants your beliefs, your actions, and your identity to align. It hates contradictions. When your actions contradict your beliefs, you experience cognitive dissonance, a state of mental discomfort. To resolve this, you either have to change your actions or change your beliefs. It's usually easier to change the beliefs. Now, apply this to the identity you are building through your focus. Every time you focus on the fear of being unlovable or not good enough, you are telling your brain, this is who I am. You filter your reality to find evidence for it. You behave in ways that confirm it. You rehearse the role internally. At a certain point, the evidence becomes overwhelming. Your brain, seeking consistency, solidifies the identity. I am an anxious person. I am someone who always fails at relationships. I am bad with money. This identity becomes the master program. Once the identity is set, your brain will work tirelessly to protect it. It will actively sabotage actions that contradict this identity. Let's say your identity is, I'm not the kind of person who succeeds. An opportunity for a promotion comes up. This is a direct threat to your established identity. It creates cognitive dissonance. So what does your brain do? It generates self-sabotaging behaviors to resolve the conflict. You procrastinate on the application. You downplay your achievements in the interview. You convince yourself you don't really want it anyway. You fail to get the promotion, and your brain breathes a sigh of relief. Dissonance resolved. The identity of someone who doesn't succeed is preserved. You are back in alignment. You are safe. You are consistent. And you are stuck. Critics of this idea often argue that focusing on potential problems is just being realistic. It's responsible planning to anticipate obstacles. And they're right. The key difference is the emotional state. Prudent planning is a cognitive act. You can look at a potential problem, devise a solution or a contingency plan, and then let it go. You are interacting with the problem from a position of control. It's a calm strategic assessment. Reverse manifestation is an emotional act. It is worry. It is rumination. It's the act of emotionally marinating in the fearful outcome for hours, days, or weeks. Planning is problem solving. Worry is problem rehearsing. One gives you a sense of agency. The other strips it away, leaving you feeling like a passive victim of circumstances you are actively helping to create. One is a thought. The other is a trance. So how do you break the trance? You can't just stop thinking about your fears. Telling someone not to think of a pink elephant guarantees they will. The brain doesn't process a negative command. The only way out is to give the brain a better job to do. You have to give it a new search query, a different performance to rehearse, a new identity to vote for. This means consciously and deliberately redirecting your focus. When you catch yourself rehearsing the argument, you stop and deliberately visualize a calm, constructive conversation instead. You don't have to believe it will happen. You just have to run the simulation. You are carving a new neural path. You are giving your brain an alternative script. Start by noticing the physical sensation of your focus. Fear has a feeling in the body, a tightness in the chest, a knot in the stomach. When you feel it, don't fight the thought. Just ask one question. What would I like to feel instead? Then spend just 60 seconds focusing on the evidence for that reality. You're afraid of failing the presentation. For 1 minute, you force yourself to remember a time you succeeded, a time you felt confident and capable. You bring up the sensory details of that memory, the feeling of the floor under your feet, the sound of the applause, the look on someone's face. You are changing the chemical channel. You are reminding your salience network that other things besides threats can be important. This is not about pretending your problems don't exist. It's about refusing to let them monopolize your mental real estate. You are reclaiming your attention. You are training your reticular activating system to start searching for evidence of opportunity, not just evidence of threat. You are practicing the state you want to inhabit. At first, it feels artificial. It feels like a lie. Because your current identity, the warrior, is fighting to maintain consistency. But every time you redirect your focus, you cast a new vote. You provide a tiny piece of contradictory evidence. You do it again and again. The new votes start to add up. Slowly, painstakingly, you build a case for a new identity. The change happens so gradually you might miss it. One day you'll face a setback and notice that your first reaction is not panic, but a quiet search for a solution. You'll enter a stressful situation and find yourself defaulting to the constructive script you practiced instead of the catastrophic one. You'll look back at a problem that once consumed you and realize you haven't thought about it in weeks. The filter has changed. You didn't eliminate the negative data from your world. You just taught your brain to stop putting it in the headline. The power was never in wishing for a different reality. The power was always in deciding what part of your current reality gets your attention. You were always a master manifester. You just had the search terms backward. The world didn't change. The lens did. And that same hardware that built your cage can be used to dissolve it, one thought at a time. The ballot box is open. It has been open this whole time.